The interview of Lieutenant General B.S. Pawar, retired, was recorded on the 1st of May 2025 before it was announced that the advanced light helicopters, Dhruvs, of the Indian Army and Air Force, which had been grounded, are cleared for flying. Hello viewers, welcome to BharatShakti.in. I am Brigadier Chatterji. We are going to be talking about helicopters today, and in that we will be focused upon Hindustan Aeronautics Limited's helicopter, Advanced Light Helicopter, also known as Dhruv. Now, as far as Dhruv is concerned, as a helicopter, it used to be serving the Indian Army, Indian Air Force, Navy, and even the Coast Guard. It's got a very wide usage. Suddenly, these helicopters had to be grounded because there were repeated accidents which also involved casualties almost every time that there was an accident. So to take us through the details of the whole issue, I have with me Lieutenant General B.S. Pawar. So welcome to Bharat Shakti.
Thank you, Chats. It's a pleasure always to be with Bharat Shakti.
Lieutenant General B.S. Pawar has been the head of Army Aviation. He's also been the Commandant School of Artillery. Further, he has been the president of the northern region of the Helicopter Society of India. He's also a prolific author. Thank you so much for having accepted our invitation. If I can start from here and ask you the first question, that Dhruv, the ALH, Advanced Light Helicopter, is in the eye of the storm. Can you tell us a little bit about its induction, coming into the forces, and what kind of a role were assigned to it? How has it gone so far?
Well, Chats, before I get on to its induction, today the Advanced Light Helicopter, the ALH, is the main task force of the Indian military, especially the Indian Army. There are about 330 helicopters in service with the armed forces. Like you said, Army, Navy, Air Force, Coast Guard. Army is the largest operator with 190 helicopters operating under it. In fact, this has been the backbone of Indian Army operations since when it was inducted in 2002. Initially, we had a lot of problems with this, like you said, eye of the storm. But before that, I want to compliment HAL. This is one of the good machines produced by HAL, which has the capability to operate at the highest altitudes anywhere in the world. Siachen is an example, where it lands and takes off with the highest helipads there. However, the helicopter has had problems. Initially, it had the vibration problems in 2005, but that was redesigned, took place because I was the boss of Army Aviation that time. The first major problem came when we had 3 accidents in 2 months, out of which 2 were fatal. This was 2023. That's the time there was a large grounding, entire grounding of the fleet. First time the entire fleet was grounded. A design review was carried out by the HAL along with CEMILAC. CEMILAC is the Center for Military Certification, and some other agencies which deal with metallurgy and other aspects of helicopters. So they came up with some findings which I'll cover later. And now it's another major accidents have taken place. See, having given the due to HAL, there have been 15 accidents in the last 5 years, most of them fatal. And when you say fatal means, in most of the cases, the pilots are not able to control. So today we have, it's the largest fleet. Unfortunately, it's grounded. And a situation like Pahalgam has taken place, where this was the backbone of counter-terror operations in the valley and everywhere else. And today you're forced to fly the Cheetah Chetaks, which actually should not be flying. 20 years back, they should have gone, put to rest. So that's where we stand today, and that's how it is in the eye of the storm.
Let's just now come to the latest accident that we've had, which has again led to loss of life. And that grounding which has been done this time, what's the reason for it, or is the reason yet to be investigated and found?
See, this grounding is the most serious, Chats, which has ever happened to this fleet. It happens. It has happened in foreign helicopters. But the point is that the grounding takes place once. After 2023, when the grounding took place, they found that the problem was the booster rod linkage, which actually connects we call it the collective, which takes you up and down. The helicopter moves up and down with the information being fed to the blades. Now there, they found that the aluminum rods that were made, that time the first design review was carried out, were very weak. So it was found out the entire fleet rods were replaced with steel rods. Entire fleet over a period of 12 months, 2023, 2024. And everyone thought, okay, design review has been done, the Center for Military Certification involved, some other labs were involved, aeronautical lab, some others were involved, some specialists were involved. But this accident having happened on 5th of January, where the pilot, this was visible, the pilot had lost full control of the helicopter, and it came down crashing like a ton of bricks, and it crashed. Now that is something serious. He is not flying away from the base. He was at the base carrying out some checks, and this is the accident that happened. Now this is what has resulted in the entire thing. 3 months have passed. Since 5th January the grounding has taken place, and HAL has asked for another 3 months. I believe the entire design review is ongoing by HAL, by CEMILAC. They have also involved Indian Institute of Science, and I'm told that some foreign experts may also be involved. But this time the reason is swash plates. Now swash plates is an assembly which permits the pilot, sends the pilot's movements to the blades. Now if that breaks, that fails, just imagine both we have a cyclic to bring the helicopter up, a cyclic to make it move forward, collector to bring it up. Those are being fed to the blades and they take action accordingly. Now here, if the swash plate fails, there is no action taking place now, nothing being fed, so the pilot has no control. It'll just go down and hit the ground. Now this is a very serious issue. This is what they're trying to address, and I hope that they go to the bottom of this problem, get hold of any expert that you require. I'm glad they were involved in the Indian Institute of Science for metallurgy purpose. And this has to be resolved, and thereafter, hopefully, this helicopter is a good helicopter, but you can't let such things let it down.
What about the Cheetah Chetaks, General? Will they be able to do the operational tasks now that firstly they are very old, and secondly, well, they are not those many in terms of numbers either?
Cheetah Chetak should have been out of service 20 years back. That they're still flying, I think should be given credit to not anybody else, but the people who are operating it, the people who are maintaining it. There are no spares available. There's nothing else available. Cannibalization is being done from one helicopter to the other to keep it serviceable. Secondly, Chetak can only fly in the plains. It's the Cheetah which flies in the high altitude, and for counter-terror ops you can do. But remember, in Pahalgam, this attack, if we had the ALHs already flying, you could have taken out 7 to 8 casualties at one time. We had to operate Cheetahs where only one casualty could be taken out at one time. And we have also the ALHs armed helicopters available in J&K operating there, but they were all grounded. And because of that grounding, because of this not being available immediately, I think you must have seen the iconic picture of the Home Minister flying in a single engine, that also a Cheetah.
They otherwise to fly twin engine.
Yeah, they normally fly the ALH or the Mi-17. Mi-17 V5 is a very big target. You can't take a chance at that moment to take a Mi-17 there with the Home Minister sitting inside. That is be the biggest target that the terrorists can attack.
Yeah.
So it has to be an agile helicopter, and ALH is the best helicopter. It has proved its mettle. It has, chats, it has flown since its inception in 2002, 3,75,000 hours, which is quite a sum.
Then isn't these many accidents in
But-
percentage terms, are they acceptable or not acceptable even then?
Certain amount of percentage world over is acceptable. But you cannot have 15 accidents in 5 years, and most of them fatal. You see, you had a design review done in 2023. That review should have, they say that there will be no failure of swash plates till today. So this is it's a design issue. It can also be, chats, design is very good. When it goes to manufacturing, are you manufacturing to the standards which the design has put? Or is there laxity there? Is there laxity in quality control? Is there laxity in not putting the full design into effect in the manufacturing stage? These are the things they have to address before they put this fleet fully operational. And now, as you're aware, some of them are flying on
Counterinsurgency. So we'll go a little further, sir, and I'm actually thinking about the pilot's training now. You have some kind of schedules laid out that he must fly within a period of so many weeks or so many months to retain his license, etc., things like that. With everything having been grounded, the pilots are not getting enough time to fly. So how does it affect their training and their retaining their licenses to be valid?
Charles, you raised a very, very serious issue. This is the most challenging issue today before, especially the Army, which is operating almost 190 ALHs. There is no continuity training going on for the pilots who are already qualified, who are already categorized. We have a system of categorization from the top pilot to the down. The flying instructors who are supposed to clear the other pilots, they themselves are sitting on the ground. There is one simulator for ALH Mark III, not this thing, which is there in Bangalore, which is a civil operated through HAL. There, pilots go from time to time to save time, don't have to fly every time on the ALH. But with that, they have to still fly the actual machine. Now, this is the biggest challenge being faced. Pilots are sitting on the ground. Maintenance crew is sitting on the ground. Operational flying has stopped. No one is flying. The route familiarization is another issue. If you haven't flown for 3 months on a particular route and you have not landed on that helipad, which is at, let's say, 19,000 feet, 20,000 feet, you have to again get cleared. You can't just go, I'll pick up the helicopter one day after 6 months and go and land there. So this currency is the biggest challenge. How are they going to address this? Even let's say today, the situation we are facing as a country, the severe, the most difficult security environment which is existing. If tomorrow it flares into a bigger conflict, all these pilots are actually not fit to fly, but we'll have to fly. Whether helicopter is serviceable or not,
we'll have to fly.
Everyone will have to fly. But this is the biggest challenge being faced, and it'll come after 6 months. The simulator is only one. You cannot address this with the simulator.
So if the operational situation demands really, then we'll have to
If the operation today demands, then you fly these helicopters. You have no choice. You have to fly them.
If we can divert a little bit, now light combat helicopters and tests, etc., were being carried out as far as I know. How will they be affected also?
See, as of now, we have 15 light combat helicopters operating, 5 with the Indian Army and 10 with the Indian Air Force. There's only 15 in service. And recently, there's approval for 156 more, which has been signed by HAL. But that will start from 2028 onwards. But the design feature is the same. The transmission system is the same. The swash plates are the same. So if this is grounded, that is also, it has affected the light combat helicopter as well. And that's my attack helicopter. So it's a serious situation. We need to, hope that the HAL is able to overcome this, and I'm sure they'll overcome. They have, HAL has got the experts, they can get experts from outside. This situation will be overcome, and I think finally we'll have all these helicopters flying, hopefully.
Okay, one more question, sir, and that's regarding exports. Now, we have exported some of these helicopters, and others are showing interest in it. So, how does this kind of a reputation go with your exports?
See, any negative accidents, accidents always act as a negative factor. We exported 7 to Ecuador, in the 2009-11 period. They had 4 accidents. But it's doubtful whether their operators were okay. HAL teams were there. So, as per HAL, it was more pilot error than anything else. But after that, 7 helicopters, they stopped. But there were countries like Argentina, Philippines, some others who have shown interest, who are showing interest. But when you have a thing like this is a big setback. They start this, sit back and think that is it a safe helicopter? After all, the safety record is one of the most important factors. Number of hours flown, how many crashes, that's how you work out the records, that is safety record. But if we come out of this, and I'm sure we'll come out of this, it's a very good machine. I will always back this. Army was the first which inducted it, and when we had 5 of these, I was the boss of Army Aviation. We had a lot of problems, and I still back this machine to the hilt. It is one of the best for high altitude operations, for counter-terror ops. You've seen Sarang helicopter team? The Air Force?
Yes, definitely.
Look at the maneuverability of this helicopter. But it is going through difficult times. I hope it's able to come out.
In fact, my next question, perhaps you've answered it in part. What's the way forward really?
The way forward is, first of all, we must do a holistic, absolute design review and get to the bottom of it, not stopgap. Okay, now is this, now is that. That approach will not work anymore. We had the booster rod problem, control, we put the steel rods. Now this swash plate is not a simple thing. It's a swash plate assembly. It is 2 plates like this, which send one is movable, other is fixed. They are sending the signals to the brig. This is actually the essence of a helicopter flying. The controls, what the pilot wants to send to the blades, happens to this. If that is not happening, now that is the first. And they must get all experts. We must find the solution and come out with the design review properly. The other thing in this is that we must find the placement for Cheetah Chetak. You can't carry on, with the same machine. The numbers have dropped. They should be actually in a museum. French have already put them in the museum, the Cheetah and the Chetak.
In fact, they're more like lorries flying.
Yeah, we're still continuing. There's my recommendation, way forward is, we had cleared the Ka-226T of the Russian helicopter for the replacement 3 years back. Then Ukraine war came, and Ukraine-Russia war, plus our own Atmanirbharta. This was put on the back burner. I feel the government needs to revive this now. The Russians have come up with a new engine, which is more powerful than they were taking the engine from Safran company, French turbo maker. So now they have come up with a new engine. We need to look at this option again, and this was to be developed here, jointly with HAL. I think if we need to overcome this Cheetah Chetak, we need to do that. And just lastly, we need a transparent system of design reviews. It must be known to everyone, especially the operators, as to what we are doing. Also, HAL needs to concentrate and get this over, rather than going into the new designs like IMRH, the Indian multi-role helicopter, which is supposed to be 10 to 12 tons as a replacement for Mi-17. While go ahead with the design, everything is okay, but wait for the manufacturer till you resolve this issue. And also the light utility helicopter, which is still not been inducted. It's also having some design issues as of today. The Army is not inducted as yet. It's another one, along with this Ka-226T. LUH was to replace the Cheetah Chetak. So this thing is, let this be this thing. The workhorse is your ALH. Work on it first, get it going, and then the other things can be addressed. This is the way forward.
Right, sir. Thank you so much for having spared your time for Bharat Shakti. I mean, it's been a very interesting discussion. Thank you.
Thank you, Chats. It's always a pleasure. And speaking about helicopters is always my the favorite topic.
Yeah. You've lived all your life with helicopters.
Yes. Thank you.
And thank you, viewers. Thanks for joining Bharat Shakti. And do tune in like this time and again, and you will find interesting stories. Thank you.